This video is for applicants, company security officers, and alternate company security officers who need help completing the Security Clearance Form, TBS 330/60. In accordance with the Treasury Board of Canada's Secretariat Standard on Security Screening, this form is required to apply for a security clearance at the secret or top secret level. It must always be accompanied by a completed personnel screening, consent and authorization form, also called the Treasury Board of Canada's Secretariat, TBS 330/23. One of the most common delays in obtaining a security clearance is due to errors in the screening forms. We therefore recommend that you first watch the video entitled, Completing the Personnel Screening, Consent and Authorization Form, the TBS 330/23E for applicants. The security clearance form and other useful tools are located on our website. Be sure to take a look at these tools, they will also help you complete your screening form. The easiest way to fill out your form is by using the Online Industrial Security Services portal, commonly referred to as OLS. This online tool can also be accessed through our website and makes your screening requests easier to read and process, while reducing the chance of errors. In order to use this service, your organization must be registered in our program and have an OLS account. If you are a company security officer and don't have an account, please contact Public Services and Procurement Canada and our Client Service Center will help you set one up. In OLS, you can e-sign your form, which means paper copies of the form do not need to be submitted. Please note that both you, the applicant, and your responsible security official must e-sign for the e-signature to be considered a valid signature. Also in OLS, if information is unavailable or unknown to you, you can add an explanation as to why the information is unavailable or unknown, using the additional information field now available. For all new secret clearance requests, including updates and upgrades, Sections A to J and Section P of the form must be completed in full. For top secret clearance requests, new, update and upgrade, all sections of the 330/60 must be completed in full. Are you ready to complete the security clearance form? Section A, Administrative Information. This section must be completed by the company security officer. If you are a company security officer looking for guidance on this section, please reach out to our Client Service Center or visit our website. Sections B to P must be filled out by you, the applicant. Section B, Biographical Information. This section is often filled out incorrectly. Please do not leave blank fields or boxes unchecked. After entering your surname, it is important that you provide your full name, including first name, and all middle names when filling out the full given name field. We do not accept initials or nicknames as the full given name. Don't forget to circle or underline your usual name used. If you have changed your name for reasons other than marriage, you need to provide your previous name and your present name. You also need to indicate where the name change took place, as well as the method. An example of the method would be Registrar of Canada. Lastly, you need to provide proof of your name change to your company security officer. Here is an example of Section B properly completed. This brings us to Section C. Have you ever completed a screening form? Here we want to know if you have already applied for a screening with any government department or agency. If so, we need you to provide the name of the employer who requested the screening, as well as the level and year of the screening. Next is Section D, Marital Status, Common Law Partnership. Under Current Status, you must only check one box. If you have been divorced, separated or widowed for more than 5 years, and have not remarried or entered into a new common law partnership, you can check single. If you are currently in a common law partnership, and you are also divorced, separated, or widowed, check common law partnership, because that is your actual current status. Common law partnership, in this form, relates to an individual who has been living with you for at least 1 year, and who is in a conjugal relationship with you. In Section D1, you need to provide all the information required on your current spouse or common law partner. If you have been divorced, separated, or widowed for less than 5 years, you have to include your previous spouse or partner in Section D2. If you are widowed, we need the date of death of your deceased spouse or partner in Section D2E. For previous common law partners, the date of separation is the date at which you ceased cohabitation. Remember, we do not accept nicknames or initials. Under full given names, we need you to provide all middle names. Here is an example of Section D, properly completed. Next up is Section E, immediate relatives. This is the most complex section of this form. Here are a few tips to help you complete it properly. You must provide details on all of your immediate relatives living in and outside of Canada. This includes your father, mother, brothers and sisters, adoptive parents, and children over 18 years of age. This also includes all half or step parents and siblings. If you are currently married or in a common law partnership, you must also provide details on your mother and father-in-law, and on any children over 18 years of age of your spouse or partner. This includes any stepmother-in-law or stepfather-in-law. If a relative is deceased, their employer name and address are not required. However, the last physical address where the relative resided is required. It is not acceptable to enter deceased, cemetery, or hospital. Make sure to provide, between brackets, the maiden name or surname at birth of all immediate relatives, male and female. Lastly, if you are estranged from a relative, or if information is unknown about a particular relative, you need to provide as much information as you can in the additional information field in OLS, and you must provide an explanation as to why the rest of the information is unknown. For example, you cannot locate the relative or contacting the relative would be harmful to you. Here is an example of Section E, properly completed. This brings us to Section F. Criminal convictions, in and outside of Canada. If you have been convicted of one or more criminal offenses, for which you have not been granted a pardon, now referred to as a record suspension, you must complete all fields. If you have criminal convictions outside of Canada, or offenses under the National Defence Act, you must list those as well. If you have more than one criminal conviction, you can enter them, one by one in OLS, starting with your most recent one. And if you do not remember the exact date of your conviction, you must provide the most accurate date as possible, and include an explanation in the additional information field, indicating that you do not remember the exact date. Section G is to be completed if you were born outside of Canada, or born in Canada holding a dual citizenship. If you were born abroad, and have not yet obtained your Canadian citizenship, you must provide immigration papers, such as a photocopy of your permanent resident status, work visa, or record of landing. Both sides of these documents must be provided. If you are a Canadian citizen, you must provide proof of your Canadian citizenship, such as a photocopy of your Canadian citizenship certificate, Canadian passport, or certificate of birth abroad. Please ensure that your date of entry into Canada coincides with other dates provided in this application, such as your residential and employment history in Sections H and I, and foreign employment in Section J. In field number 3, a naturalized Canadian is defined as a person who did not receive Canadian citizenship through birth or parental descent. In section H, for residence, you must provide complete home addresses for the last 10 years, or as of 16 years of age. A residence is considered a place where you physically live. Example: if you are a student at university and you are living on campus while studying, your campus address is considered your current place of residence, where you live. Your residential history must coincide with other dates within the application, such as Section I, Employment History, and Section J, Foreign Employment. Make sure there are absolutely no gaps in the 10-year period of coverage. Here is an example of Section H, properly completed. For more information on how to complete the residence section, please view the video entitled Completing the Personnel Screening, Consent and Authorization Form, TBS 33023, for applicants. Section I is your employment history. The question, would your employment be jeopardized if your current supervisor below is contacted, is often left unanswered. You must answer this question. Also, if your past actions resulted in you being dismissed or asked to resign from any position listed in your employment history, you must check yes and give the name of the employer, supervisor, and date. You must also clarify the reason for the dismissal. If you were laid off due to company downsizing, company bankruptcy, shortage of work, or seasonal employment, you can check no, as this is not considered a dismissal. As for your employment history, it must cover the last 10 years, or start from the time you turned 16 years old. It cannot include any time gaps between jobs. If you are unemployed, the word unemployed should be inserted in the space provided for name of employer, and the dates associated should be entered. Your employment history must also coincide with other dates within the application, such as Section H, Residential History, and Section J, Foreign Employment. Lastly, it must include your current and past supervisors' full name, no initials, the telephone number, and street address of each employer. If any of these are unknown, please clearly identify as unknown and provide an explanation, if necessary. If your last 10 years of employment have been interrupted by education, you must provide the name of the school in Box A, the dates of attendance in Box B, and the address of the school in Box C. In Box D, you must enter student. In Box F, you must provide a teacher's name, and in Box G, enter the school's telephone number. Box E is for military personnel only. If you are, or were self-employed, or worked as a consultant, under name of employer, you must provide your business name, or your full name if you do not have a business name. Under job site address, you must provide your permanent business address. If your permanent business address is your home address, then you need to input your home address. For your supervisor's name, you need to provide your name, or the name of a person who can verify your employment. Here is an example of Section I, properly completed. For Section J, Foreign Employment, you must confirm if you have ever been employed by a foreign organization. If the foreign employment was in the last 10 years, the dates must coincide with other dates provided in the application, such as those in Sections H and I. As mentioned at the start of the video, Sections K through O must be completed only for top-secret security clearance requests. In Section K, we need you to list the countries you visited within the last 5 years for personal travel or non-government business. This excludes Canada, the United States, and Mexico. If you have left the country to travel for more than 6 months, it must be entered in Section H as residential history, and not under Section K as travel. One-day visits to countries, such as a cruise stopover, do not have to be recorded. A contractor, on Canadian government business, is not required to record details of their travel in this section. Section L asks for a list of any business, financial, or personal assets you may have outside of Canada. For example, a Swiss bank account, or a house outside of Canada. Note that you may later be asked to give details on the type of asset and its estimated value. When providing character references in Section M, your references cannot include relatives or persons residing outside of Canada. References can be colleagues, peers, and friends who have known you for over 3 years and will be able to speak to your non-work environment and activities. Be sure to fill in all the information required about your references. Full name, no nicknames, full address, complete work title, and work address, relationship, period known, and telephone number. Under neighborhood reference, your neighbor must live in the general vicinity of your current residence and must have known you for over 7 months at your current address. If you have recently moved, you can provide a neighbor that has lived near you in the past 6 years. In Section N, Education, you must name the last school or university you attended full-time. If you attended school or university in the last 10 years, be sure that your education dates coincide with other dates you provided in the application, such as those in Section H, I, and J. Section O, Military service, must be completed, even if your military service was covered in your employment history. You must list the last or current unit you belong to, and the total dates of service you acquired while in the Canadian Armed Forces. In Section P, if using the original signature option in OLIS, the form needs to be signed by you, and it is vital that you sign, date, and input your telephone number for your home and business. If you do not, your application will be returned to you, causing delays. You have now successfully filled out the security clearance form. Let's review some helpful tips that will ensure your screening request is complete and avoid processing delays. To avoid your document being returned to your organization, make sure all information and additional documentation are complete. Use the Online Industrial Security Services Portal, OLIS, to help you fill out the form. If you need to provide extra information to support your screening request, use the Additional Information field in OLIS. If you were born outside of Canada, don't forget to include your proof of Canadian citizenship or immigration papers. If you are using OLIS and decide to click the original signature option, your company security officer will need to print out the form and have you fill this section by hand, as all initials must be hand-signed and not typed. Should we receive an incomplete application, your company security officer will ask you to fix the problems or obtain the required documents and will need to resubmit your application. This takes time and causes delays. Please note that Treasury Board is revising this form, and when the new form is available for use, we will update this video. If you have any questions related to this form, you can contact us or visit our website. You can email us at ssi-iss@tps-gc-pwgsc.gc.ca. If you are calling from the National Capital Region, the number is 613-948-4176. Our toll-free number is 1-866-368-4646.